So, bug. I had a problem and I wanted to share outcomes for problems that come up in life. Every challenge is an opportunity, is a lesson. But until you start experiencing it in that context in real time, everybody gets mired down with the scary part. So for a long time, I had someone in my life that was like, you tell people what's going on to make them feel sorry for you. And I was like, no, I don't. I give them context. I rarely ask for help. I did a lot with Arrow on my own, but I did ask for help and people responded to help me with Arrow. So for those of you who don't know me, Gabriella, I am a performance advisor with health, finances, legal, and everything else. But I wanted to share my personal story of how Connected Energy Method works when you're in coherence. And so I had a problem that I could not find a solution for. Could not. And then I had two people that I knew I could reach out to that could have a solution. One was the first one. I didn't think of the second one until later. But the second one came at the appropriate time because my brain was already exploding with finding the first half of the solution. So I called a dear friend in another state. I let them know what was happening. And this person came back with a solution so extraordinary and generous that I literally had to cry for about 10 minutes because I don't like asking for help. I'm very good at giving, but I'm not good at receiving. So, especially, from people that aren't blood family, but I've realized that sometimes blood family is just not capable of helping you. And so your selected family is. Now, this person that decided to help me with this problem is a former police officer, really good person, good human being, family man. And the deal that he came up for me was just unbelievable. And I just, like I said, had a good cry. But then I had a secondary problem. And then I remembered about 10 years ago, someone who's watched me carefully for a long time, who's a very successful, shrewd individual in business in another country, has been watching me since the beginning of my career. And that person once offered to help me move and offered me a sum of money in assistance. And at that point, I didn't need it because I had all the money I needed. And I thanked that person and I said, when I need it, I'll ask for it. I said, but I don't need it right now. And maybe somebody else needs it. This person is historically famous for helping a lot of people. And I know that. So I thought, if I have, Bo, come on, Bo. If I have the money, why take what I don't need when somebody else said he could help, right? Okay. So 10 years later, I send a note and saying, look, I know it was a long time ago. I don't know if you're in the position to assist. And I said, but I need this, which is a fraction of what was offered. But if you can't, if you're not in the same position, I totally understand. It's 10 years later. Come on. And I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect help. I just felt compelled to ask, and it was hard to ask because I wanted to find my own way through. Person wrote me back the nicest, kindest note and is assisting. And my jaw dropped. And I went to bed having another good cry because everything is working out so that I can solve this infrastructure problem effectively with the assistance of adopted family. And so the thing was, I wasn't negative. I didn't think to myself, no one's going to help me. I didn't think that. What I thought was, I'll have no attachment and I'll reach out. And having no attachment and just seeing what happens, what is supposed to be for me and the other person. And when you allow people to give to you, you give them a blessing as well. It's karmic. You give them a blessing by allowing them to assist you. It's a good thing. And I also realize that I am allowing these folks to help me, and that is a blessing. And then I realize how much gratitude, how much goodness I have in my life, despite the trauma of the past 6 years. And I'm so grateful. So, with all that said, solutions always come. You just have to not have attachment. You have to have coherence. You have to have been fostering good relationships. You have to be a person that is transparent, that people know who you are and trust it and believe it. And like, one of the people's never met me in person, but yet this very shrewd business person is very clear on what I am and who I am. So I'm so grateful. Like, I'm walking around this morning going, I can't believe this. I'm so grateful. And I realize how lucky I am and how blessed. And I could go on and on. So remember, there's a couple of things. When you ask for help, you've really, A, got to really need the assistance. B, you can't have attachment to outcome. If you ask somebody for help and they can help, great. If they can't, it's still fine. A solution will come. There's never a dead end. It's always about what is meant for you versus what is not meant for you. But in this particular case, it was meant for me. All right, guys. I will talk to you soon. And remember, all challenges are opportunities. You just have to have the right signal and the right approach in your heart. You have to be coherent to be able to make it happen, or to recognize what can happen and all the possibilities of good outcomes with challenges. All right? Just sharing some personal experience of me walking the talk of the Connected Energy Method. If you want to find out about me, my website's on my homepage. All right? Bye, guys. Have a great one.